Here's a major Black History Month fail. So, TikToker Marilyn Monroe recently shared an email she got from a Chinese hair removal company called Ulike, essentially inviting her to participate in a campaign for the new product. However, embedded in this invitation was a suggestion for her not to take offense to the fact that because the product they're launching is a de-melanization product, Black creators are excluded. Now, this was sent to a Black creator in the middle of Black History Month in the United States. So if you want to know who is this company, the legal ramifications of what this email says, I'm an attorney. So on this account, on my channel, one of the things I've been doing recently is helping fellow content creators know the laws and rules related to the creator economy. Stay tuned. But before I talk about the legal, I'm also going to talk about the cultural failings and why I think this email was sent, and then the business faux pas and business failings of Ulike in this campaign, and then finally what I think is going to come about from it. First, let's talk about the cultural thing. In the United States, we have a very storied, complex history related to race relations. It's a lot of sensibilities, a lot of sensitivities related to it. Well, in a lot of countries outside the United States, even if they're multicultural, even if they have different races, people who immigrate, it's still very, very different from the United States. So culturally, if you are not a US-based company, when you reach out to America, influencers come in all races. You have to be aware of these sensitivities. And I'm sure if you're a content creator, you probably got reached out from someone who, because of the language, because of the clumsiness of the way they pitch, you can tell that they're not American. English is not their first language, and you give them some grace and some leeway based on that. But Ulike is a major company. Who are they? So they started in 2013. It's a beauty tech company. So they want to compete, according to this article I discovered, with the likes of Braun and Philips. And what things they say differentiates them from other companies is they have a cooling technology that as they remove the hair from your body, that it cools it off. It's dissimilar from other products, perhaps. Now, the de-melanization, what I think this is essentially a lot of people have darker pits, and so they want to make sure their armpits match their complexion. So here is where the cultural mix up with the business. Because if you're a business in the business of helping a skin product, you should know that people of all races, all ethnicity, all skin shades use hair removal products. And there's a failure of the business to understand that Black people in America and across the world come in all shades, from as light as the average European American to blue, black, dark as the darkest maybe Black person in Africa. So there's lots of shades. So there's a disconnect and a misunderstanding that even Black people have darker pits. Like my pits, as my complexion, are darker than me. So your product could actually benefit me. So there's a misunderstanding thinking like Black people have Black pits, and so we're starting with a dark pit already, and their product perhaps is tailored to people who have maybe browner, who might be fair skinned, and so their pit's a little bit brown, and so they're going to they can do it. If they accidentally give it to a dark skinned person and they have a bad experience or it doesn't work, that their product can't help darker skin pits, and so they don't even want those bad reviews, so they're going to exclude all Black people from it. So that's the business failing. So the cultural failing is the failure to not outsource your marketing to a company that's aware with the cultural sensitivities, and a company that's aware during Black History Month, you don't want to send that to it. And then also whoever did the research, her name is Marilyn Monroe. The product is a de-melanization. I could see somehow some young intern got the job and just got confused and just was sending stuff out. And I cannot see how she looks unambiguously Black. She could look Hispanic or whatever like that, but for the most part, the creator looks like a Black creator. So to send an email says that there's just like moving too many pieces, moving fast, they're not checking up, whatever like that. So that was a big mistake. And it's possible the company did in their workings inside, they said the quiet part out loud. They could have said this internally. It wasn't supposed to get to the actual end person, the person, the target, which is the creators. It was not. That's something that's not supposed to be communicated. But again, because you're not using your business isn't really cutting corners, and you're not using American based, maybe because it costs too much, you have this mistake. Now, from a legal standpoint, in the United States, we don't regulate the internet. The only way we regulate internet or companies that are on the internet is through things like consumer protection laws, privacy laws. That's it. Now, the states, if it was a brick and mortar store, like Ulike sells products in stores, but they don't have, I don't think they have a store based in the United States. And here's the other thing. When I went to the website and I looked to the Our Story page, there was nothing about the story. There was nothing mentioned in this Chinese. all the emails go to like a generic emails, a phone number, an email, and chat box. So there's no physical address. And I always tell people, be wary of companies that don't have a physical address, because if you want to send something back, or if you want to complain, or you want to launch a lawsuit, you don't even know where to send it to because there's no physical address. And the fact that there's no physical address means that they could be potentially trying to hide the fact that they're Chinese. That's probably why. And if you didn't do any research, you just wouldn't know. And plus, we're in the economy, we're in the world where we just communicate, and we're so used to commerce being online. A lot of people just don't check those things. And if you were in the state, and a state could have a law that says we have anti-discrimination states, so you can't put up like a coffee shop and tell, say, on Tuesdays we're not serving black people, because the state can go and pull the license, pull all sorts of, they can levy fines. They can use anti-discrimination laws that's in the state for that actual brick and mortar store. But when you're talking about online, it's really hard. It's very easy for you to not to be working and doing commerce relationships, buying and selling products online. It's global, across different borders, and not be, beholden to any restrictions or rules or regulations regarding stuff like that. So it's kind of difficult for them the legal ramifications if they're not going to suffer a PR nightmare. Now, since this happened, I went to their TikTok page, and the people are like roasting them in the TikTok. People are throwing tomatoes at them, and no one from their marketing has even said anything. I'm not quite sure if it's bubbled up to the top, or they're disconnected, or what the deal is. But what happens is, if anything, it's going to be like a groundswell. It's going to come from people getting mad from the bottom and percolating to the top. At some point, the upper echelon people, maybe money talks, if they're investors or the other people they partner in with, were like, hey, they sell their products in American stores. Like, hey, we don't want to be, we're going to have a problem here. Your product is, you have this out here, handle this. Well, so when their money gets messed up, when their relationship or partnership gets up, that's when I think this company is going to actually say something. And maybe whatever company that they outsource to is going to have to issue an apology and maybe do better. So the lesson there is, if you are on TikTok, I'm a creator myself, so I have a TikTok shop. I sell the shirt. The algorithm is disrespectful sweatshirt, and I sell templates and things like that on my YouTube channel. And so I am familiar with TikTok shop, and I get solicited a lot. Most of the solicitations that come to me are from people that are not based in the United States, or they're not Americans. They're asking me, and they're promoting products, and their language is clumsy, and they're just thinking money. They most likely don't have an arm, a philanthropic arm that does altruistic work, outreach work. They're just that's not what they're just trying to make money, and they just see money in the United States, and they're just going after it. And so they don't realize that outrage from a really strong vocal community in the United States can mess with your money. And I don't think they have that yet. I don't know. Anyway, so that's just my thing point. So that's why, so that's what happened culturally. I think it's a business failing. I think legally nothing's going to happen to them for the most part. I'm not quite sure, but I think if there anything's going to happen to them, it's going to be from outrage from the creator economy for them to make it right. So anyway, so that's just wanted to talk about that. I do think it is interesting. I think what happened here is what I explained to you. If you have any thoughts on that, let's talk below. I hope that was helpful for you. Again, if you're interested in the legal of content creators, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, follow along. If you're watching this on TikTok or Instagram or any other platform. And if you have any questions, answer below, and then if I can, I may respond and answer to you. All right, thanks so much. Hope that's helpful for you. In the meantime, if you want to see other videos I've done here, you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a playlist here.